Hello and welcome back to So This is Thailand. I'm Johan Wimonchalau. Swadee krap.
I'm ทัปปณีมนาเวศสวัสดีค่ะ
And I'm Belinda Skinner. Sawadika.
Back in the middle of the week.
Yay.
I think a lot of people are back to work today as well.
First day of work today.
And first day or not a continuation of last week's traffic, unfortunately. And you also mentioned, the schools are getting back in, so a little longer wait.
Either today or tomorrow, the full force of the traffic is going to hit us like a ton of cars. Well, technically, it's not the first day of work. If you were at the office on Monday, then yay, you didn't skip work like most people did.
Yeah, unfortunately, I didn't. Lucky those, and I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday.
Absolutely. Well, getting back into the swing of things with Talk of the Town. Number one on the list?
Yes, we'll start with the confiscation of fake food supplements. Now, this is from a company called Genu Food Supplements, which is full of enzymes and plant-based vitamins. The added tragedy here is that actually part of this is supported by the Miracle of Life Foundation stickers, which is endorsed by Her Royal Highness Princess Ubonrat Ratchakanya. And some of the profits of the sales of these products are being donated to poor children. So a lot of people are buying this to support the program, and they've been duped. Well, so far they've confiscated 4,000 boxes of these food supplements worth 16 million baht and arrested 6 people who are involved with the counterfeiting and distributing and supplying of these fake food.
Well, it's terrible that they're taking a product which is supposed to be for the benefit of the health, and especially to make it matters even worse, duping people for a charitable cause, which it's like they're almost doing twice, a bad thing twice.
Yeah, it's very sad, isn't it? I mean, a lot of these counterfeit foods and vitamin supplements and all that, it's quite sad, especially since it is a good cause. So just be aware, I suppose, where you buy things from as well.
Well, we had on expert advice some weeks ago. We had an expert from the GPO, the Government Pharmaceutical Organization, as well, who was talking about how to make sure that whatever you're buying is real, is not counterfeit as well, and it has the full active prescription ingredient in there as well. And so, we do caution those who are, maybe, preying on our generosity, as it were, to make sure at least you know where you're buying it from. It's a reputable source. Make sure you understand exactly what's in the product itself. And do a little homework. If you know it's being supported or they're claiming that it's supported, call up a representative and ask them, is it true that this is a product that actually you endorse?
Very true.
Yeah, so that wraps that story up. Now they've been arrested and behind bars, and hopefully the people who are supporting this certain food product are getting the full benefits of it, and also their money is going in the right place.
Good.
Absolutely. Well, moving on to look at some of the financial news that's happening in the country here. Some of you may know that the Bank of Thailand actually did a 25 basis point cut in the hopes to stem some baht appreciation. Now, we've covered some stories in the past where we've seen a large inflow of capital into Thailand. Because our interest rates are quite low here, there's a lot of incentives for coming in here. But the fear is, with all this inflow of capital, that there'll be some, especially some bubbles being created that we had in the past. And they're looking at the global economic growth rate is about 3.3 so far percent. Thai is looking at 5.7, so well above. So it's looking very attractive, obviously, to a lot of projects, but the problem is with that you get appreciation of the baht, then we're less competitive in terms of our exports as well, and then you have people investing in certain areas like real estate. But as the bubble bursts, as we've seen it happens in the past, and a lot of people are holding assets which they can no longer afford to keep, and that's a major problem here. Yeah. All right, nice and quiet.
The mind is racing with many things.
But if you look at it, one of the things that they're looking at is it's called a loan to deposit ratio, and it's basically how much capital does a bank have in terms of operation versus the amount of money that they have to get from outside sources. Now, if it's below 100%, which it should be, it means they don't have to borrow. They don't have to use capital from outside the country. right now, looking at Thailand, it's actually exceeded that amount. So we're actually starting to depend on some foreign capital, which is not a position that we really want to be in, because we were in the position some years ago that everyone knows, and that's when we had the economic turndown. So, obviously Southeast Asia, very strong economically. Even China, even though it's not as strong economically as the forecast as they had predicted, it's still growing fairly strong here. They're looking at 7.4% this quarter, which, actually anything when you compare it against the Europe and the U.S. is probably going to look fairly strong. But we definitely don't want to make sure that whatever happens there does not affect us here.
So far, so good.
Yeah.
Well, staying on the topic of trade and exports and all that kind of complicated stuff. Well, Thailand has been negatively impacted by Indonesia's import restrictions, which have just been implemented, and this is affecting our exporting of Thai fruits. They have entered into a free trade agreement between ASEAN and China, Indonesia, which means that the Indonesian market has been flooded by fruits coming in from China whose prices are cheaper than those of Thai. And they've looked to restrict the imports into their country by narrowing down the number of ports for ships importing agricultural goods, controlling for quality and licensing, and introducing some quotas, which means that it's more difficult to import Thai fruit into the country. And in particular, this is affecting the Thai durian and longan, which is very popular there. So they're saying that Thai exports may not be able to grow by as much as 10% as we had previously hoped.
Well, I think it's a trend that we're actually seeing here that, obviously the regional competition is picking up. We do have the AEC coming up, but China obviously is a force to be reckoned with, and you have to understand that just based on sheer size and volume, we're going to have to stay competitive somehow.
Absolutely, and this is going to happen. As ASEAN is moving forward, this is going to happen, and we've got to be very aware of it. When Thailand products and Thailand fruit does start to become more expensive in our own country, is quite scary. Like if we are getting imported fruits and they are cheaper than what's local, then perhaps the government needs to start some sort of campaign as well. And other countries have seen it. In Australia, they saw it as well, where the local product was more expensive than the imported. And so it was buy Australian made and so it got people promoting their own country. So, like be proud of Thailand, be proud of the Thai fruits and things like that. And so buy local.
I think that we're starting to see this here, with the Chinese fruits that are entering the Thai market, and the apples suddenly became cheaper than Thai oranges or something. So people are not, tending to favor different fruits that are being imported that maybe we're not so familiar with, and Thai fruit's suddenly expensive.
Yeah. Yes, but still nice.
Yeah,
Very
still
enjoyable.
delicious, exactly.
Still the best.
Well, last on the list for the talk of the town is, did either of you know that Thailand does have one of the world's 3 largest fossil shell sites?
Really? Not
What or not? Well, if you think about it, for those who know the geography and we might say the historical position of Thailand in the world, if we go back to prehistoric days, most of the especially the central area, especially here in Bangkok, was all underwater. It was all we know a lot of it's a swamp now, but it was under an ocean. And so we have a lot of shells here. And if you look in Bangkok, usually when they're doing excavations, you'll find a lot of shell fragments. You'll find a lot of limestone as well, obviously, from it. The problem is in Krabi province, because of the heavy monsoons that we've been having and following the tsunami from a few years ago, a lot of that natural fossil shell shelf is being eroded. And it's a big draw. It's a big draw in terms of tourism, in terms of paleontology as well, in looking and preserving that history. It's actually between 20 to 40 million years old, and there's some excellent specimens of creatures that lived millions of years ago. And the fossil layer is about 40 centimeters. I mean, if you think about it, that's
deep.
That's deep. And what's happening is it's not so much as the water eroding it from the top, but because it's a coastal area, you have erosion from underneath, and it's actually penetrating into the limestone, into the crevices in between, and making these, might say, micro tunnels within the fossil structure itself, and becomes brittle. When you have a huge monsoon, a lot of weight, or any movement in the land, they break off and drop into the ocean. You lose all that history.
Wow.
Salt water is very destructive.
It
too.
is very
I
much
mean,
so.
Krabi, unfortunately, being right on the ocean there, is just going to get so destructive.
Yeah, and they've tried some preventative measures about putting up some natural wave barrier, sea barriers made of concrete, but obviously the continual pounding by the sea, higher obviously in the monsoon season, they just can't keep up with that amount of pressure, so they're going to have to come up with a much more long-term solution.
Very sad. I hope they don't
It
lose, because it's a lot of history.
It is a lot of history, and
interesting.
we actually mentioned before, if you go on the flip side, if you look up into the Isan area in Yasothorn, there's a fabulous fossil museum up there as well. There's a lot of some dinosaurs which were actually found the first time in the world here in Thailand.
Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, lots of history to be
history.
known around here. Lots of history. But that does wrap up the talk of the town. Coming up after the break, speaking of fruit, kind of going from Tara's story, looking at mangosteens. Delicious fruit, yes?
Oh, I,
I
love
love them.
mangosteens.
You
But-
call
Very
them the queen of fruits.
Yes, they
isn't it?
are. Well, they are also known now clinically as a fruit which can help, I won't say cure, but it will definitely help treat cancer.
Seriously.
Seriously, it's
Wow.
a fabulous story that's been clinically proven outside of Thailand as well, and in Europe and in the US as well. And we'll get the lowdown on that.
Sounds very interesting. I want to hear more because I do like my mangosteen.
They're delicious.
Yep. And coming up after that, Kun Bon will be telling us about how to get around in Bangkok by the free bus.
Excellent.
Yeah, we always like free rides.
Stay tuned.